Back now to hear more from some of our community experts as they discuss the impact of COVID-19 on the modern workplace.
My name is Jeff Willinger. I'm coming from you from Southern California instead of Europe, which is kind of a bummer, although it is always sunny here. But, due to COVID, we're coming to you virtually, all five of us. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about the impact of COVID on the modern workplace. I'm currently the Director of Alliances and Platforms at Fujitsu Computer Products of America, and my responsibility is really to evangelize our digital imaging solutions, our scanners, plain and simple. I'm excited to talk about this topic because it's affected all of us, and we're going to do a quick round robin of introductions. First, we'll pass it over to Melanie. You are muted, Melanie.
Sorry.
There you go.
Options you have working remote.
There you go.
We'll cut that out.
Thank you very much for the introduction. My name is Melanie Culver. I work for an international organization based in Vienna, Austria, so in the heart of Europe. I'm responsible, one of the internal consultants for any Microsoft 365 or Azure technology, and at the moment, of course, focusing on what we can do to improve our productivity with everyone working remote, trying to get everyone together and delivering stellar results to all our clients, basically, out in the world.
Thank you, Melanie. My friend Heather, around the corner from me.
Hey, also coming to you from Southern California, just in the Los Angeles area. Hi, everybody. Heather Newman. I'm Principal PM Manager at Microsoft. I am helping lead and build a platform. Recently joined the team, been around the European SharePoint Conference a long, beautiful time. Was an Office Apps and Services MVP, so thrilled to be here and talk to all of you. Yes, wishing we were together in person, but so happy to be here today as well. So. Next.
Thank you, Heather. Appreciate you coming on. Jasper?
Hi, everybody. My name is Jasper Oosterveld. I'm living in Amsterdam, also working in Amsterdam as a modern workplace consultant for a company called InSpark. And I support customers implementing the modern workplace. It's, of course, very broad. My focus is around Microsoft Teams in combination with governance and compliance.
Thank you, Jasper. Jussi?
Hey everybody, my name is Jussi Roine. I'm based in Helsinki, Finland, and I work at Microsoft on Azure product marketing. And Jeff, I have to tell you, you have two things that I need in my life. You have sun in California. We don't have that in Finland anymore. And you also have scanners, and I haven't had a scanner in ages, but I think I need to go out and get one now.
Jussi, I like it. In fact, we're going to talk a little bit about the impact on the modern workplace. And when I joined Fujitsu and I saw the connection between our scanning and, advanced capture and what they're doing in content services and SharePoint syntax, I said, there is a definite fit for where our scanning technology fits in. In fact, part of my responsibility is finding partners. We're very tied into the content services, the launch project, the launch that is currently happening. So thank you for noticing, Jussi. I appreciate that. The check's in the mail. I want to kick off by, I've been obsessed with this quote from Satya Nadella. He said, we've seen 2 years worth of digital transformation in 2 months. And I used to think digital transformation was something that CEOs talked about when they were at the golf club or at the clubs that they go to. But I've got to tell you, digital transformation now is more urgent than ever. Even organizations that were further along in the digital transformation journey before the pandemic now need to move more quickly. We need to be more resilient. The imperative isn't just to transform, but it's really to improve the agility, speed to market, and stability, and to achieve these faster, really to get that faster return on investment. A report by McKinsey said 80% of business leaders across all industries intend to accelerate their digital transformation. Knowing that and knowing, the impact that COVID has had on the modern workplace, I'm going to throw it over to you, Melanie. What have you seen in your world as far as, the impact?
That's a very good question. And I think it had a huge impact. If you think about international organizations, you always think about very dusty and very resilient to change. But in reality, COVID gave us the possibility to change very fast. For us, it was really, really hard, of course, at the beginning, because from one day to the other, we all had to move to working from home. So there was a big change. Adjusting to the technology, of course, in IT, for us, it's very easy to change. But for our clients, it's just, we've never seen Teams. We've had a couple of online sessions with other people from outside of the organization. So getting used to this, how do I dial into this remote, into our internal network? How do I connect? And then we had our amazing service desk that really ramped up their powers to help all these people come online, teach people how to use these tools, talking about Teams, SharePoint, Outlook, also other technologies we'd be using, like WebEx, for instance. Of course, at the beginning, it was a lot of chaos. But I think now we've settled and found a way where we can all collaborate with each other and still be very productive. I think it took us a while to really become 100% available again. We might not reached it in a very fast pace, but essentially we could deliver the results to our internal clients and also our member states, which was amazing. And I think at the beginning we're very anxious, will we be able to deliver this in such a short period of time? But we all had to adjust, and we all had the same struggles. And I think that was really helped us is to reach out to each other within our little units, have our daily meetings, and encourage each other, and just work from one day to the other at the beginning to feel comfortable and settle in. So I think that this whole COVID helped us to use technology a lot better and force us to use it in a way.
I like, the idea of, I don't like the idea of forcing anybody to do anything, but nowadays, I am with you though. People that were kicking and screaming, oh, I don't want to use Teams. Oh, I don't want to use, I don't want to, use video camera. I mean, I like the camera, not all the time, but I like it half the time, when it's appropriate. I don't need cameras all the time with my internal clients, but if you're doing a meet and greet for the first time, I think that the camera is, it helps connect.
Absolutely.
We use the term the new normal. I don't love the new normal, right? We don't like the new normal because I don't know about you guys, but I am itching to get back on the road. I'm itching to see customers. I'm itching to see my colleagues in person, share pints like the old days. Heather, I know you're new to Microsoft, and I don't even know, have you been up to campus since you've started?
No. No, I started back in my new position in June, and no, I have not. So yeah, I actually I'm going to actually drive up for the Power Platform Community Conference that's coming up that we're putting on the 22nd. So I'm going to drive up so I can host with John Levesque. So
nice.
I'm going to go in the studio. Yeah, but I'm driving because I don't want to be flying right yet,
Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
I've been on an airplane a couple times to Chicago, and if anything, I feel as comfortable as I've ever felt on an airplane.
Huh, yeah. Interesting.
Southwest is keeping the middle seat open. The flights aren't completely full. I know that's not the same for all the airlines, but it's been good experiences for me, except that I found out that my TSA expired. That was the only negative. Yeah. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. I'm supposed to be in this line. What are you talking about? This is me.
Right. Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
do agree with what you're saying about seeing people and going on the road. Because I don't mind working from home, but it's just so the other extreme now. Like I kind of like the balance. So working from home sometimes is going to customers or being at the office, and that's just it's just totally switched the other side. I think I find that's hard for myself. I think for a lot of people, yeah.
I
I'm
think that
missing the social part, especially where you just go for a simple coffee. You just go up for a chat. I mean, it's still working away, but yeah, this intersocial part is absolutely missing, for me at least. Yeah.
and everyone's got their own sort of thing, and you can't get mad at it. Like I love Heather, and let's say Heather, I always want to see her, and she's always like, and then you just can't take it. No, I'm just kidding. But there's certain people that just are not ready to socialize. They're not even ready to social distance. And you can't get mad at them. It's there's so much politics in the US right now, but there's also the politics of social distancing and, having as many, if anything, this has cost me a lot of money because as many of you know, I'm sort of into fashion and looking good, and I've got more masks now than anyone should have in their lifetime.
Oh my goodness.
Threadless is doing very well with me. Jussi, what's going on in Helsinki? I've never been there. I know it's the home of, I don't even know if, I'm guessing Nokia is still around in a different form, but what's going on in Helsinki?
So now that you mentioned Nokia is still around. It's a little bit of a different company. And since Microsoft acquired Nokia mobile phones, we're sort of intertwined now within Microsoft. So Finland is doing fairly well in the sense that we are more or less managing with COVID-19, but everybody's at home, everybody's working remotely. And it's funny, I was reflecting back on this. I've been working remotely from home since 1997. So I thought that I at least know how this thing is going to work out. But then in March, when everybody else went remote, the whole pace of how you actually work, that changed. And it took me a couple of months to sort of get at the same pace. And then I realized that this isn't a one-time movement or change that we're now sort of completing. This is an iterative marathon. So each week you sort of have these new realizations that, I need to do this, and perhaps that lunch meeting, I shouldn't have that in person. We can do it over Teams. And it's taxing for a lot of people. But at the same time, I think after 6-7 months, people are getting used to this. And now we're sort of anxiously waiting that hopefully we'll get back to the old normal. Nobody knows when that's going to happen. But at the same time, I think we're starting to cope quite okay with this sort of mentality. If you set the boundaries yourself, if you manage your energy, if you manage your time, if you manage and be realistic what you want to achieve.
Yeah, and I think it's we've got some tools, right? There's a lot of heaviness in the world, right? Everybody's got that. I don't even want to call it a low level of stress. It's like medium to high level of stress for whatever you're dealing with, right? Like, and then dealing with, working from home, kids from home, just all of that stuff. I find like I'm gravitating to things that are fun too. So it's like I'm like, let's do together mode in Teams. I've turned that on a few times and people are like, what's that? And then it starts it with a little bit lighter heart, and when you do meetings, setting things up to where let's do it for a minute, just turn on your camera for a second. You don't have to do it if you don't want to, or whatever, like that kind of stuff. And so that's kind of, because I feel like the screen fatigue and like the back-to-back meetings, like, I don't know about you, I am working back-to-back, like no breaks. I'm like, can I please get a glass of water and or go to the bathroom? Like, it is, you know what I mean? There's no commute time, it's just, I'm like, I'm up in the morning and it's like, wham, and it's relentless. And like, I'm more productive than ever maybe, but then I also don't have time to think, to like be creative. Like, we started doing focus Fridays, no meeting focus Fridays, because I'm like, I have to have a day to work and not meet with people, and at my level, I'm meeting with a bunch of different people. So like, that's, So yeah, so I don't the normal part of it, like I've never liked that word anyway, but I feel like yeah, at least there's some the innovation that's coming out that both is super productive, but also then there's some actually fun things and backgrounds and silly stuff to, like, you know what I mean? And like watching that woman turn herself into a potato for hours was hilarious, you know, like it's because she
Yeah, the
could fix
beginning,
it, you know, like
yeah.
so like some of that stuff, it's like nice to have some levity in the day too when we things are heavy, you know.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
and
also.
go ahead, Jasper.
I'm sorry, yeah. And that's also what stood out for me with Ignite, that there was such a focus on people's health and
Yeah.
well-being instead
Yep.
of always just pushing technology. But now it's like, yeah, we really have to take care of each other, and you know, the integration of my analytics, the headspace stuff, and that's really, I like that a lot. Like that
Yep.
really, yeah, that was a positive reaction for myself to see what Microsoft really, yeah, more focusing on those things. Yeah.
Yeah, I think 2 years ago at Ignite, when the whole diversity in tech and humans of IT launched, I think that also was a big shift. You know, it's always been there, but I feel like that shift in putting those sessions in a pre-day, and you know, and ESPC, we've always done like a women in tech or diversity in tech lunch, and it's been those things. It's about career and wellness and mental health and, you know, diversity and gender and all that stuff. And I think having those conversations be blended into everything that we're doing, so it's just we're thinking about it as one, is what we should be doing, right? You can't, you know, we're humans and technology, and like we should be making software and things that help, right, each other all the time.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's what you said. But I think what you said was always there, but for most people, it was just not really in there. Like I knew of it, but I wasn't really involved or anything because you don't really have to. But now it's like, oh yeah, holy shit, yeah, this is actually important.
yeah, absolutely.
You know, they say that I was reading in the United States, we're working 20% more than
Wow.
it's almost basically like an extra day. To Heather's point, I'm actually in as good a shape as I've ever been in my life. And people will say, oh, Jeff, you're so tan and you're looking very trim and fit. And it is true. But guess what? I'm also working those hours, but I'm also waking up early. I'm a diehard pickleball player, tennis player. I got myself an electric bike. I had a regular bike, which is amazing, but then because I'd like to do more, I want to get there quicker. I haven't drove my car in ages, so I ride my e-bike all over with the big fat tires. Bought it off of an ad on Facebook. Yes, I'm one of those guys. I'm the perfect target. Himaway, I love it. They're not a sponsor, but pickleball 5 days a week, tennis 5 days a week, and I work, 5 days a week. And but in other countries, it's even more. In Australia, it's something like 50% more they're working now, because it is just so easy to just sit here. And to your point, Jasper, having that health and wellness in the background, I wish more organizations were pushing that more like Microsoft is. Heather, I don't know if you see that at all, where they're like, hey, get up, don't stay there all day, go outside for a walk.
Yeah, completely. Well, here, wait, like while we do this, I'm gonna
bye.
stand up with my stand-up desk.
Oh yeah, I like it.
Yeah, no, I feel like like the headspace stuff, it's like where we can bring these things together, I think is super important too, right? It's like there's where we all may be working more, and in the tech community there's such a lot of opportunities, right? So it's like about wellness and taking care of each other, and then also in building community, how we share and upskill others. And you know what I mean? Like I have a theater background, and I know a lot of artists, and I know all that whole the event planner community, right? Like all of these events that were in person have gone to virtual, like that industry, and so many, are just, a mess right now. And so trying to figure out also, it's like all of this health and wellness for us who are working a gazillion hours, but all of that mental health for folks who are searching for jobs and lost jobs and losing businesses and stuff like that. I think, like the ability for us to share as a community opportunities for people to career switch, Like that to me is part of sort of this mental health bubble of goodness that we as people who have these opportunities can share, you know, and do conferences like this and other conferences where we can bring people in and teach them, you know, app in a day, or, you know, let's talk about how you because you know Excel, maybe you can start building Power Apps, or, you know, like all of that kind of stuff too, to me is part of this. What are we doing now in this new normal to help each other, right? And community to me is, I mean, that's part of my job, but it's always been on my mind in that. And I think we all participate in that a ton. I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of those conversations happen too, and I really like that a lot. So,
you know, again, I'm going to talk about some stuff that Satya was talking about building that whole business resilience to improve the bottom line.
yeah,
I think that moving forward, every organization is going to need to both embrace the digital technology and build that digital capability to be more resilient and thrive in this phase of change. Companies they're going to need to make investments in key kind of what they call digital resilience levers, resulting in cost savings across the board, higher productivity, higher performance. I know, Jussi, you were talking briefly about what you guys are doing in Finland. Any elaboration or any thoughts on that?
One of the things that really came as a surprise to me is that typically in the Nordic countries, so Finland, Sweden, Norway, and Denmark, typically everybody has a fast broadband connectivity at home, and we also have fairly cheap 4G and now 5G connectivity on all of the devices, and people have often 2, 3, 4 devices. And even if we had the connectivity before COVID-19, if you try to reach somebody, let's say after 4 o'clock when they left the office, you couldn't really reach them anymore because they sort of put the devices away. But now, if you need to reach somebody at 7 in the evening or 8 in the morning, you can ping them through Teams or whatever different software and tools you have. And most people are reachable. I think it's a positive thing, because now you can control how reachable you are and how much you're actually working. But then I also feel that people also need to put the devices away, especially on the weekends, and go do something else. Jeff, you mentioned the e-bike. Definitely do something like this to sort of offset all of the hours you spend in front of the different screens that you have.
Yeah, so what I personally did was just blocking the afternoon in my agenda from like 12 to 1. So I just, have lunch with family and then just go for a walk or something. So yeah, otherwise I know it's what Heather says, otherwise you can just keep working until you're like, oh, I'm so tired. So you really need to, that's a tip for people out there. I think is block it in your agenda if you can. That really helps. And not just one time, but like
every day.
Meeting. Yeah.
Put it in your calendar.
Yes, because otherwise they'll book you. Oh, there's another slot.
Yeah.
Let's go for me.
There's a half hour, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The art
Because
of blocking your calendar.
Yeah, because it's so easy now to back to back, just disconnect and reconnect to the next meeting. Easy.
Yeah.
But yes, it's all about your own health, mental health and physical health. I mean, what I started doing is just going for a walk after 8 hours of work, just going around and get fresh air and keep my body mobilized.
Yeah. I also think that there's I don't know, that sometimes I feel like the competitiveness of, sometimes we get competitive in technology, like, oh yeah, I know this and you know that and all of that. And I feel like that to me is like something a bit more of the past. There's still some of that, always in everything. And I love competition. I'm from the Midwest, for goodness sakes, but, and I used to play sports, but like the thing that I really about sort of digital literacy in today's world is that I feel like teams and having to work from home and having to do this stuff, it both illuminated sort of what you don't know in a way, and like and also like I have 4 screens rocking right now. Okay, I've worked from home like you see, like since 1990 or 2006, like for a really long time, right? And so it's like I'm set up. I got a ring light. I got all this jazz. I do a podcast and stuff. So like, but like my friend of mine that I work with, he's like trying to like do a Teams thing and take notes and stuff. And I was like, what are you doing? And he was like, what? And I was like, I was like, how many screens do you have? He's like, one. I was like, oh my God, what? Like what? And then I'm thinking, what am I chastising him for? You know, of course he only has one screen. He doesn't work from home. He goes to work, right? But so like we're not set up to like necessarily do this, right? And so it's about also like I'm like, I can't wait to get the name of that bike, Jeff. Like first of all, like that I was like, what? But it's also helping each other of like, well, how do you turn the teams on and how do you pop that thing out? And what is that? And I feel like we're helping each other more on a level that's just because we're all like, I just need some help and I don't want to be made to feel dumb about it. You know what I mean? Like let's figure this stuff out together. And I kind of feel like that's permeating in many businesses too, with the whole like, you know, especially on the Power Platform, I'm, you know, biased of like the pro dev versus the citizen developer and the makers and all of that, like really democratizing IT and development and what we're doing and opening things up to people like I was saying, like a graphic designer, for example, who may have lost work. Well, you know, like in Power Apps, you need pretty graphics, right? Like you could be somebody who does that as a graphic designer with no technical training whatsoever, but you could help somebody create beautiful designs for apps if they didn't want to build them themselves, for example. So I feel like there's so many opportunities for us to connect with each other on sort of basic levels of help, you know, something that Jussi and I know very well.
A nice topic I'd like to follow up on this, Heather, is what I just like to do with my internal clients is try to enable them as much as possible to tell them, look, here's Team. How can I help you using Teams? What is your business case? And although it's always in the interest of the business, of course, to make money, but I enjoy more helping people to enable them to do stuff themselves. And I think they appreciate it much more. And then they continue to evolve by themselves. You just need to help them get started. And then after a couple of months' time, you see amazing things that they can do and you've never thought about it. So it actually gives you back in the end as well.
Yeah, it's a team sport, right?
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
Stop suffering alone and like let's work on things together as a team, you know. Raise the hand, give each other a high five, right?
Love virtual high fives.
One of the things here that reminds me quite often is that back in the day, and this was too many years ago, we had SharePoint Designer, and that was a tool for a lot of people who might not have been too technical, but they perhaps needed to build like a business process orchestration thingy, and they could click and get amazing stuff done. But then 10 years later, now we have, Heather, as you mentioned, a lot of different features in Power Platform. And it's amazing to visit a customer or a partner and see what they're building after just having had a 2-hour quick training on the basics. And I think that's the essence of productivity as well. Instead of having somebody work on something for 20 days before we actually see any results, now we can empower the customers directly to have them build it themselves. And then we can have a pro dev or a pro IT pro helping them out on those specific problems.
The many things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's, you know, when people are like, oh, the low code, no code, you know, we aren't going to need anybody anymore. And even with RPA, with, you know, robotic process automation, you know, I've said this, I share all kinds of things. I share checklists. I share this, I share that. I'm like, here's the thing. I'm going to share it with you. And the thing is, nobody's going to ever do it like exactly like I do it. So, you know what I mean? So like everyone is unique and special, you know, but the more we share with each other and we can build on top, that's velocity. And that's what you were talking about, Jeff, is resilience as well. So I mean, I agree with you. It's like there's a partner play for helping people learn how to build Power Apps there or whatever it is, you know, and also in your customers, you know, that you're going into and empowering them and empowering kind of like with SharePoint, it's like end user adoption. You put together your Tiger team, right? You try and have somebody from all the different divisions on the team talking about, because all of a sudden you build something and then you get to the end users and then they're like, that's not how we do it. And you're like, for goodness sakes, right? So I think it's the same thing that we're seeing now with this low code, you know, revolution. Charles Lamana is talking about that in the keynote. So I think it's exciting that it's, I don't know, we're better connecting on a heart human level, and I think we're better connecting on a let me show you how to do this level that we haven't maybe had before from the developer to end user perspective, and that's super exciting to me. So nice hat.
Yeah, Is it the third one now? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
this
really
costume
distracted
change.
where you're at.
Yeah. So again, keeping things lively, making sure everyone's paying attention. I broke it into the 3 R's. We've talked about responding, right? We've done that. And now I think that we're in the recovery phase, right? So we're preparing to restart and rebound, allowing some people, many of my clients, I do a lot of work in the MFP, multifunction printer world, the Ricos and Konikas and Kyoceras, Toshiba, Sharp. They're going back to the office, but allowing them to get back to work safely, sell, service, deliver on customer expectations in this completely changing environment, build that agile supply chain. This is all part of the recovery phase. Build that agile supply chain to quickly adapt to these new opportunities. Leverage insights. Melanie, you were just talking about that. Leveraging insights to reveal the unknown. And Heather, I know that I like the idea. I come from a no-code area, right? When I was at RightPoint, our claim to fame was we built a lot of SharePoint intranets, but we really pushed the heck out of SharePoint back in the day. No-code apps, build improved processes, and then automate repetitive tasks, right? That's why Microsoft bought the RPA company, and focus on what matters. And then we reimagine, right? Transform to strengthen that resilience and thrive in the future. Migrate to the cloud, save money, improve agility. I know that's music to your ears, Jussi.
Yeah, it definitely is. Please migrate more.
Personalize that sales and service to increase the conversion and satisfaction. Again, being in the hardware world, that's super important to us. We've got 50% of the world market as far as scanners go. Our scanner of the future that scans directly to SharePoint Online, with one touch of a button, it's just not out there. And it's a very small footprint on your desktop. That's the future. So reimagining the way we've been doing work is going to be sort of, how I see the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So as far as, are any of you going back to work at all, going to brick and mortar, or everybody working from home?
Well, I worked from our office opened up in June, and then but not for everybody, just for a limited amount of people.
The important people, right?
Your words, not mine. But that's true. But we could apply if you could visit, and they monitor the amount of people. So for me, that was perfect because I needed to get out of the house. But unfortunately, last week they closed it again because of the rise in corona cases.
Wow.
But so you were able to go to the office, and only to clients who actually did some precautions for but I think I visited maybe one customer and since February, but I did like going back to the office just for the change, to see some people and different environments.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I must confess the majority of our people are back in the office, but we have very good precautions. We're lucky that we have a lot of single offices as well, and with the shared offices, they're really pushed apart, the tables. And the hygienic standards are very, very high at the moment. So it's working really, really good. And we do still have the option for some to work from home as needed on demand.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on how you're set up, right? I mean, some places have individual offices. Other folks have more of like the bigger, many people in one office. I mean, here down at the pier, there's restaurants that are, down by Venice Beach Pier. Well, I don't know who allowed them to do this, or if they just said we're doing it, but they all popped out and took over the parking.
It's amazing. It's such a good.
They made outdoor areas for themselves because they want to survive, right? So I think there's a lot of figuring out the return to workplace solutions that we're putting out sort of technology wise from Power Platform and Teams. Like everybody is, like you were saying, Jeff, it's like what's the recovery look like? What is this great pause and realization, making us innovate so that we can see each other again, that we can keep our businesses afloat, all of that stuff. I think, you're seeing it kind of all over the place, which is what humans do. We innovate, right?
I'm actually okay sitting at a restaurant not having someone right next to me. I'm okay if that's the way it's going to be in the future. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I
Same thing with
understand
the
that.
airlines. I'm okay with someone not sitting next to me. The best part, because I'm a road warrior, generally 100 nights a year ish, and I'm okay with people covering their mouths now when they cough on an airplane or they sneeze. They don't sneeze on my back anymore. I love that.
Yeah, in general.
Actually, only
know,
positive
having
effects,
manners.
right?
Yeah. I mean,
That's-
I always brought wipes and stuck that, was it South African Zum Zum? I can't remember what it's called, but Tracy gave it some to me of my notes. Like I was already doing that because I'm a, we're all of us travel a lot. I did that anyway. I never wore a mask, but yeah, I mean, I think us being a little bit more mindful of each other,
Yes.
I mean,
Yep.
it's not the worst thing in the world and it's sort of manners and politeness as well. It's like if we bring
Manners.
that back, just don't be gross. So
I'm also not going to be. I'm also not going to be the guy that's going to shame someone. If I'm walking my puppy in Santa Monica,
sure.
I don't wear a mask when I'm outside. I just don't, unless I'm going into a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to shame someone either if they're not wearing a mask. I mean, it's inside that I could see where people would be.
When we got the social distancing guidance from the local government here in Finland, I think in April that people should keep, 2-meter distance. A lot of people had a look again and say, what's wrong with 5 meters that we normally maintain?
Spread out.
It's interesting because you say 2 meters in Austria, it's 1 meter.
Oh,
Yeah, we
that's
have a meter and a half.
right. I don't even know what that meters thing means. So
Oh.
okay, it's like
So can't convert that. I'm really bad. It's about that much.
yeah, absolutely.
It's about 3 feet or so. I don't know.
Thank you.
I just remember when I was a kid, in my autograph book, there'd be like, there's a meter in music, there's a meter in tone, but the best kind of meter is the meter alone.
Wow.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Don't forget to tip your servers. What have you guys been seeing in the communities? I know I'm very much a part of, with Joel and Ryan and Galen, we put on Microsoft 365 virtual conference. I think some of you guys were a part of it, trying to bring the community together at Ignite. I was part of the Yammer community, and we did the together mode, and it was great to see everybody. I mean, I miss seeing people. We talked about this earlier. I miss seeing Heather. It's so good to see you, Heather. And texting is not the same as this. And of course, hugging is not the same thing either. What have you guys been doing in your local communities as far as community, if anything? Jasper?
Well, I joined. I've never done so many conferences since everything went online.
Yeah.
So I try to participate more in that than usual, because normally, I travel, but I cannot travel all the time because, that's budget reasons and stuff like that, the family reasons, of course. But it is nice to join these online events. And it's also interesting to see how many more there are, and people are really, I think everybody's participating, trying to help. And we already had one of the best communities out there, and I just continued, but then online. So I'm really happy to see so many events, new ones and existing ones, transitioning to this new, not new normal, because it's annoying to say that, but to this situation we're in, let's say it like that. So it is, it's good to see that still goes on, for sure.
Melanie?
Yeah. I think I just recently we relaunched our Vienna SharePoint Saturday to collaboration event together with Munich, actually. So we're trying to now revive our local community as well into the online world. So I'm looking forward to this now. We're really trying to pull things together to actually get it started back on track. Yeah.
Jussi?
We've seen the same. So we've had a lot of active communities here in Finland and in the Nordics. So now everything is online, of course. So that's sort of the usual thing that you're expecting to happen, that you have these different events happening online. But what we've been also doing sort of on the side is that we do these ad hoc community calls, and I know Jasper at least has been part of a few of those. So we set up 1 hour, 90-minute call. Everybody gets a cup of coffee or a glass of wine if it's a weekend. And then we don't really have an agenda. We might be 10 people that know each other really well, but we haven't seen in person in 6 months or a year. And that sort of is the relaxing bit, because it's not recorded. There's no outsiders sort of listening in on that. And I feel that beyond online events, you need these different sort of ways to meet up and keep track with people and share your thoughts. Because when I meet people in person now, which doesn't happen that often, but perhaps my extended family, they might ask me that, hey, Jussi, what have you been up to lately? And you're like, well, the same that I've been up to since March, so each week is the same. And there's not much exciting things happening. But then when you talk with somebody online and he might be more remote to you, then you have more to share. And in smaller online calls and whatnot, I think it becomes more valuable and more concrete as well.
Heather, I know we're both part of the California SharePoint user group or Office 365 user group.
I mean, I feel like so Jeff and myself and Joel Olison and Galen and Ryan Schouten and like a bunch of us have worked together forever between LA, Sacramento, Eric Overfield, San Diego, Chris Givens and David Levier and all that stuff. So we've always worked together on, like, whether it was a SharePoint Saturday or a, Saturday San Diego and the user groups and stuff. And I feel like one of the things I was happy that we did was we kind of came together as a virtual California set of user group kind of deal. And that, I think, for now, especially, knowing that at some point, hopefully knock wood, we will, have a SharePoint Saturday again, or have maybe instead of having, in person once a month, maybe it's a combination where you do both, or you do a happy hour that is the social piece of it, or the holiday thing, or maybe the in-person is more like the social stuff and you do more of the online because you can get speakers from everywhere in the world to come and be a part of it. I feel like if I see somebody that I love that's speaking somewhere, I'm like, and it's in Vienna, and I'm like, I happen to be up or whatever, I'm going to go check it out, right? So you can belong to different user groups and we all belong to the same community, right? And I'm finding that even like SharePoint's so strong. It's going to be 20 years next year, y'all. First of all, let's say that for a second. Huge. And then, with Power Platform, I'm seeing so many people that cross over. And so people are like, well, what kind of user group should I have? Should it be a Power Platform or Office 365 or M365? What should I call it? Blah, blah. So there's a lot of that's going on right now too, that I find that's kind of interesting. It's like, do we make it broad? Or do we make it kind of more niche and specific? I don't know if you're finding that and having those conversations or not. I'd be curious to know about that.
I know from my standpoint, especially at Fujitsu, trying to figure out who do we cater to, who is our end user. We sell through a channel. So we've got resellers, we've got distributors, and then it's the end client that actually ends up using our scanner. It's nobody else. But yet we don't sell directly to them. So when we're putting on webinars and putting on events, it's figuring out who do we want to market to. And to your point, Heather, I'm part of the Houston SharePoint user group too with Johnny and Rick. And we're putting on a SharePoint Saturday Houston. And I said, well, why don't we market it to everyone, not just the folks in Houston? The topics are still very interesting. Great set of speakers. I think that for those of you that would like to become an MVP, speaking at these events, especially now in front of your computer, to me, I personally think that speaking into a computer, especially, I'm doing a couple of sessions at European SharePoint Conference, and speaking in front of your computer for a half an hour is not the easiest thing in the world to do. But if you look at it the other way around, it is the easiest thing in the world to do because you don't have all those people around that might, be sleeping or on their phones.
You don't notice it. You just don't notice it. That's the difference.
Yeah, you don't notice people that's like, Yeah.
Sleeping or on their phones. And if anything, we've gotten smarter. Keep these sessions. My colleague Bernie always says, be brief, and be brilliant. So I see that we've already been talking for 45 minutes or so. I'd like to think that all of us were brief and brilliant in our own way, but all these sessions don't need to be 45 minutes to an hour. Let's cut them down. Let's be brief. Make them 15 minutes. In fact, a best practice that I've been following in Fujitsu, make 15-minute meetings. Make 45-minute meetings.
I do it all the time.
Instead of an hour. They don't need to be an hour. They don't necessarily need to be 30 minutes. Make them 15 minutes. Think about it. So just, some tips like that are going to go a long way with your colleagues. Then you'll be known as Jeff, the 15-minute meeting guy. Perfect.
If a TED Talk can be 15 minutes, a TED Talk, right? So, yeah.
Why not?
It's a challenge.
So I know that the attendees are watching this, and I hope they got a lot out of it. I know I certainly enjoyed moderating this amazing panel. Any final words, Melanie? We'll go around the horn one more time.
Well, thank you very much again for this amazing session just now. A lot of input, things we can use in our day-to-day world now, working differently as in the past. And I hope everyone enjoyed the session and looking forward to a great day.
Did we lose Jeff?
No.
Oh no!
Maybe. I don't know.
Everybody, just for a minute. We're still recording. We are still recording. Melanie was like this, and again, we all. I got the bad network quality. Your network is causing poor quality. Turn off your camera. No, it means that we hit that wall.
Okay.
Thanks for that, Melanie. Heather, over to you. Parting words.
Thank you, as usual, European SharePoint Conference. I hope you all have a great conference. It's one of my favorites. I love this community. I love speaking here. And I think, be nice to yourself. Be nice to yourself and think about grace for yourself and for everyone else. You never know what's behind someone's smiling eyes. Things are heavy right now. We're doing a lot of amazing, great, innovative, cool work. But it's also, you got to take care of yourself. So do that and start those meetings with maybe some fun and some levity. It's like silence with no picture at the beginning of a meeting can be a little daunting, like back to back to back. So anyway, feel like you can have some fun.
I literally just got goosebumps. You are so brilliant. I mean, I am honored to moderate this. Jasper, over to you.
Yeah. It's hard to follow.
Like tech team. But there it is.
I know. Giving you a virtual hug, Heather.
Soon you guys will can go in your own breakout room.
Great.
Looking forward to that.
I might have that.
No, but of course, thanks you guys for being in this panel with me. I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. And for people out there, thanks for watching. And try to stay safe and also think about your health. What Heather also said. So try to block some time in your agenda to do something else than work. I think that's very important. And just be safe.
Thanks, Jasper. Over to you, Jussi. Wrap it up.
Thanks, everybody, for joining. Thanks for having me. Thank you to all the great panelists. And I have two parting advice here. One is that try to learn as much as you can during ESPC and reach out to the speakers after the event if you have questions, because now you cannot find them in the corridors. So ping them on social media and ask for advice and opinions. And now when you're done with this session, go and have that chocolate bar. You've earned it.
Jussi, great parting words. Way to wrap it up. I'm Jay Willie on Twitter. This has been an honor for me to moderate this panel. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of the conference. And we will see you soon.
Yeah, take care, everybody.
All right.
Take care.
Bye, you guys.